So this is my week 4 or 1 month of taking 100 milligrams of wellbutrin XL for depression and ADHD, the inattentive type. Um, Last week, on Sunday of last week, so Sunday morning, I started getting a rash on my chest. It was like unbearably itchy. And of course I scratched, and so then I had like a huge red spot on my chest, and I noticed that the itchiness was spreading like elsewhere, like on my back, my arms, my stomach, just literally everywhere. And I was kind of freaking out because I was like, what's going on? Like for a while I thought, like, do I have bed bugs? What is going on? But bed bugs wouldn't make sense because my son sleeps with me, and if it was a bug problem, then he probably would have been just as itchy as I was, and he wasn't. It was just me. Um, and it took me a while to kind of connect the dots, that it might have been the medication. Because I mentioned in my previous video, before starting Wellbutrin a month ago, I was on lamotrigine, which is a mood stabilizer. And one of the serious side effects of lamotrigine is something called the Stevens-Johnson syndrome, where you get like a serious, potentially fatal rash. And I didn't get that while I was taking lamotrigine. The reason I stopped taking it was because it was making me nauseous and causing uh, vomiting and headaches. But then I kind of realized I stopped taking the lamotrigine, and like the following day, I started. My psychiatrist started me on the wellbutrin, so we didn't even really give it a chance to leave my system. So then, I did a Google search like I usually do, and I did come across an article that talked about how late onset, I forget the name of it, but basically a rash. It is a symptom of Wellbutrin, and it does happen. And it does happen a couple weeks into taking the Wellbutrin. Doesn't happen to everyone, but it is a potential side effect. So then I went on Reddit, and I read a couple posts about some people who were also experiencing a rash and unbearable itchiness, and a lot of them kind of waited it out. And they took antihistamines, and which I did. I took Claritin. Um, okay, so I'm like jumping all over the place. Probably ADHD. I'm kind of having trouble keeping track of my thoughts. But the rash started Sunday morning, and it went on like all day on Sunday. And I showered, I washed my sheets, I wanted to go in to see my doctor, but of course it was Sunday, so it was closed, so I kind of waited it out. But I was having a really hard time sleeping that Sunday night because of the unbearable itchiness. So Monday morning, um, I was still really itchy, and the rash was still kind of spreading. So then I took Claritin, which I kind of forgotten that I had because I take it for seasonal allergies every once in a while, whenever my allergies get really bad. So I took the Claritin, and about an hour later, I started noticing some relief in my symptoms, and that kind of um, helped me realize that it was some sort of allergy. And that's when I started kind of connecting the dots that it might have been because of the medication. And then when I went on Reddit, I saw that it was something that other people had experienced, but a lot of them, they waited it out. They took antihistamines, and eventually they said that after about a month, the rash just stopped. Um, and so I debated telling my psychiatrist about this because I had a feeling that if I did tell her, that she was going to want me to come off the Wellbutrin, which I really didn't want to do because I am so tired of doing trial and error with all these medications. First it was Zoloft, then Prestige, then lamotrigine with the mood stabilizers, and now wellbutrin. And like I mentioned in my previous videos, I am starting to feel some relief from my depression thanks to the wellbutrin, which is why I was really hesitant to tell her. I thought, maybe if I just take the Claritin for a couple of days with the medication, it'll subside. And it did. I took Claritin for 4 days straight with the medication, and I wasn't experiencing any symptoms of the rash after that. But then I saw my psychiatrist yesterday, and I let her know that I did have a rash and all the itchiness for 2 days on Sunday and on Monday, and that after that I started taking the Claritin with the Wellbutrin, and that kind of got rid of the itch and the rash problem. Um, but she is really, really cautious, and I don't know, I guess she was thinking it could have been a late onset rash brought on by the lamotrigine or the Wellbutrin, or maybe the fact that we really didn't wait out a period of time before starting me on Wellbutrin, um, after I stopped taking the lamotrigine. So whatever it is, she was thinking that um, somehow maybe the two medications kind of clashed and caused an allergic reaction, or worse, it could have been that Steven Johnson syndrome that is that really serious side effects of the lamotrigine, even though I haven't taken lamotrigine in over a month. Um, am I even making sense, or am I just jumping all over the place? Because sometimes I feel like when I talk, I only make sense to myself because my thoughts just kind of jump everywhere. Um, Point being that and I told her I'm not even experiencing the rash anymore ever since I started taking the Claritin with the Wellbutrin every morning. The rash subsided and now it's completely gone. And I told her that I wanted to keep taking it because I was feeling relief from my depressive symptoms, and I wanted to see if it also did anything for my ADHD. But unfortunately, she insisted that she wanted me completely off medication for at least 2 weeks, because the rash could come back, could be something potentially serious, and I guess she's the expert and she knows what she's talking about. So she has a point, although I was really disappointed that she didn't let me just stay on the Wellbutrin because, like I said, I am tired of jumping around from medication to mood stabilizer to antidepressant and just trying to figure out what works for me. And it's so frustrating to think that I was finally feeling some relief and now I have to come off it. And she told me, yeah, I want you to just stop taking it. And for the next 2 weeks, you're not going to take any medication. We want all the medication to kind of be flushed out of your system. Um, and you are probably going to experience some period of withdrawal where you're going to feel down. But it's for the best. And she told me to come back and meet with her again in 2 weeks. And if the mood swings or the depression and all the symptoms that I was experiencing before taking the medication, if they were still persistent, which I'm sure they will be because I have major depressive disorder, um, ADHD, and generalized anxiety, and I have been dealing with these symptoms my entire life. So I really don't think that they're just magically gonna just go away. Um, so she said that if in 2 weeks um, I wanted to try a different medication, then we would talk about that. I don't know if she would let me go back on the Wellbutrin or just have me try something else, but I am disappointed, I'm upset, and I'm frustrated um, that I'm having such a hard time finding a medication that really works for me. Um, and I don't know if I'm going to go back on the Wellbutrin, but whatever it is, I guess I'll come back with a different or another medication update in 2 weeks. And after I meet with her, and I will come on here and talk about what we decided. Um, but I might also be posting other videos talking about living with a physical disability, because I do have cerebral palsy as well, and kind of navigating just the world in general, uh, and the educational field, and possibly talking about my future career goals, which is to become a speech language pathologist, which is what I'm currently going to school for. So expect to also see other life update videos on this channel. I do want to keep posting about my mental health journey, but just a heads up that you might see other random videos that have nothing to do with medication or mental health. And so, yeah, I guess I will come on here soon.